With the recent Birkeland accident wildfire breaking out in northern Riley and Potawatomi counties over the weekend, first responders have been on scene with the goal of containment. And as of Tuesday, we're at 90% containment, according to Riley County officials. Commission Chair John Ford thanked firefighters for their hard work over the past few days.
One of the interesting things from a geographical standpoint on this particular fire was it was just north of Tuttle Creek. It provided some challenges, but in terms of being able to have a water source and a water supply to be able to pick it up and drop it, it was basically right there. So that worked out pretty well.
Since early last week, emergency crews have worked on the state's backup radio communication system after a cybersecurity incident compromised their P25 radios. Ford says it actually may have enhanced the state response to the fire. The county is hoping to have its system restored within the next week or so. 3 people are behind bars after an investigation into illegal narcotics in the Northview area. According to RCPD, a search warrant was executed just after 6 p.m. Monday in the 2400 block of Charlays Lane. Police arrested 21-year-old Derek Duncan, 38-year-old Anthony Edwards, and 36-year-old Brittany Clark of Manhattan in connection to numerous drug-related offenses. Duncan faces the most serious charge, distribution of a controlled substance causing death. All 3 face multiple distribution and possession charges, including distribution within 1,000 feet of a school. Duncan was not issued a bond at the time of his arrest pending a first court appearance. Edwards is jailed on a $28,000 bond. Clark jailed on a $70,000 bond. A 61-year-old Manhattan man is recovering after what authorities are calling an accidental shooting. According to RCPD, officers filed a report Monday morning of discharge of a firearm within the city limits. The incident happened in the 1900 block of Hunting Avenue. Police say the man, who was not identified, was attempting to clean his firearm when it discharged, causing a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was transported to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Manhattan Public Works crews updated the City Commission Tuesday on some of its ongoing stormwater and floodplain projects. Stormwater compliance engineer Bill Heatherman says ongoing work to raise the levee is nearing completion of the first phase after nearly 2 years of construction.
So basically, not only did we upgrade the size of the conveyance underneath the levee, but because of how close it was to Hayes Drive, we went ahead and extended all the way so that you don't have a big opening there, right there in what is the parkland. And that is work that we're going to get Hayes Drive open very soon.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is working on a Phase 2 of the levee project that will focus specifically on finalizing an agreement with the railroad for improvements to the railroad gap section. Commissioners were supportive of the city's updated safety criteria for storm and flood drainage. With weather being a variable for many of these projects, Commissioner Karen McCullough says she thinks putting more consideration for global warming should happen in the future.
But I think it is really important to reiterate that what we're seeing with global warming is more intense storms, that really do plummet down on us and make things very difficult, even with good stormwater planning.
Evergy will most likely have to find a new location for a proposed electrical switch site after the Riley County Planning and Zoning Board this week denied a request to build in the Ashland Bottoms area. The board voted to deny the request Monday after a nearly 2-hour public hearing where, similar to last year, residents raised concerns about the station's close proximity to the Ashland Cemetery, as well as preservation of the scenic area near the Konza Prairie. Some planning board members were also concerned about the possibility of future expansion there. Evergy spokesperson Jessica Keck.
I said, yes, we'll have a line. I don't know where it's going to be. We have to have an alternate source that allows us to switch power from one source to another source. We have the 115 already. Yeah, we'll have to have another source. I don't know exactly where that's going because we don't plan that until after we get the location, and then we have public outreach and community involvement.
This new site is north of the previously proposed site near West 32nd Street and McDowell Creek Road. Board member Jack Platt says he's not sure the plan was in the best interest, though, of surrounding property owners.
I understand the need for a more reliable electrical infrastructure, but I am also concerned about if this goes in, what's going to happen in the future. I think it could be very detrimental to that area. I think we need to be very mindful of that.
The board's decision now heads to the Riley County Commission for final consideration on May 2nd. Manhattan 66 District State Representative Sydney Carlin has announced that she'll seek another term in the Kansas House. The 79-year-old Democrat has held the seat since 2003 and has not faced opposition in her district since 2018. During her tenure, Carlin has advocated for improving workers' compensation, defending voting by mail, and cutting the state sales tax on food. She's also advocated for women's reproductive rights. Prior to her tenure in Topeka, Carlin served on the Manhattan City Commission for 4 years, from 1993 to 1997. Candidates will have until June 3rd to file for the upcoming election. The primary will be held August 6th. The general election is November 5th.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines at News Radio KMAN. After announcing Sunday she would be returning for a final year of eligibility, K-State basketball standout Ayoka Lee and head coach Jeff Mittie talked with the media about that decision on Tuesday.
We had met Sunday and just kind of talked through things and from just standpoint of March Madness finishing up and where we're at kind of in the realm of Manhattan with basketball. It was a good day is what he told me, and I said okay. And so I called him that evening.
Lee saying there are a number of reasons to return for that final year of eligibility.
I think my teammates are a big part of it. I think you're not going to go to every school and just have great relationships with all your teammates. So I think that's really a big part of it. And then just coming off the year we had, we're capable of, winning a conference title and things like that, and not being able to do that. It was frustrating this year.
With the game being in the spotlight thanks to Caitlin Clark's exploits at Iowa, among other highlights this season, Mittie says he thinks Lee can be one of the marketable players in the game.
I think Yoki's one of those players that going into next year that will have an opportunity to be the face of women's basketball. Certainly you look at Beckers and you look at Juju Watkins, and I think that there's Yoki's certainly in that category of that next potential player players. I think there'll be a lot of others that can help with that for women's college athletics.
Lee returned from knee surgery that sidelined her for the 2023 campaign to average nearly 20 points per game, over 8.5 rebounds per tilt, and almost 3 block shots per contest, as the Wildcats finished 26-8 but lost in the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament. High school baseball yesterday, Manhattan and Junction City split a doubleheader, the Blue Jays winning the opener 9-8. Manhattan rebounded to win the second game 9-0. Rock Creek ran its winning streak to 5 with 3-0 and 10-0 wins over Chapman. Riley County was swept by Wabaunsee 7-5 and 7-1. In softball, Manhattan took 2 wins from Junction City, 7-1 and 15-4. Wamego also with a pair of W's as they bested Concordia 11-0 and 9-2. Rock Creek split with Chapman, falling 6-3 in the opener. They won their second matchup 16-1. And Riley County took a doubleheader over Wabaunsee 5-2 and 16-0. A day after winning the Manhattan High Invitational at the Country Club, Wamego's golfers finished 4 strokes back of Concordia at Chapman's Invitational. That was good for third. Brecken Miller shot an 80 to finish in a tie for fourth as the only Red Raider in the top 10. Frankfurt finished fourth at its own event in Onega. Chase Stahlbomber's 93 was good for eighth, the only top 10 finish that the Wildcats would have on the day. Salvador Perez, game-ending single in the 10th inning, allowed the Royals to pick off their 5th consecutive victory last night as they bested the Astros 4-3. Garrett Hampson was placed on second as the automatic runner to lead off the 10th inning for the Royals. He raced home when Perez led off the inning with a single to center.
Salvi rips it, left center field, down into the gap, that's a base hit. Hampson takes off for third, he rounds the bag. The Astros don't even bother to pick it up. Hampson scores standing. The Royals win the game. El Capitan comes through in the clutch. He delivers a game-winning hit in the bottom of the 10th, and the Royals beat the Astros 4-3.
James MacArthur with 2 scoreless innings for the win for Kansas City. The same 2 teams to match up tonight at Kauffman Stadium, 6:40 for the first pitch. John Calipari is stepping down as Kentucky's men's basketball coach after 15 years. Amid reports that he's closing in on a deal with Arkansas to take over that SEC program. Calipari posted a video on X in which he said that after talking with his wife, he decided a change was needed.
The last few weeks, we've come to realize that this program probably needs to hear another voice, that the university as a whole has to have another voice giving guidance about this program that they hear. And the fans need to hear another voice.
Calipari leaves a Wildcat program he guided to the national title in 2012 among 4 Final Four appearances. All told in 15 seasons, he was 410 and 123. Tara Vandiver, the winningest basketball coach in NCAA history, announced her retirement last night. She'll step down after 38 seasons leading the Stanford program and 45 overall. The 70-year-old had surpassed Mike Krzyzewski for the wins record earlier in the year. Her top assistant, Kate Pay, is set to take over the program. Pay was a player for Vandiver from 1991 through 95 and then has been a coach on the staff for 17 years. The Masters marks the first time the major champions from the past 5 years are all competing together since last July's British Open. Jon Rahm will try to join Tiger Woods, Nick Faldo, and Jack Nicklaus as the only back-to-back winners when the tournament starts today. Woods has played only 24 holes in one tournament heading into the Masters.
Now, you've talked a lot about some memories already today, but what do you feel like you're capable of doing this week? What do you believe that you can do this week?
If everything comes together, I think I can get one more. Want me to describe that any more than that, or we're good?
Rory McIlroy to try for the 10th time to finish off the career Grand Slam. Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Woods are the only players to complete what's known as the Modern Slam. The 34-year-old from Northern Ireland has not won a major championship in a decade after having ticked off 4 over a 4-year span. K-State baseball back at it tonight as they will welcome in Wichita State for a 6:05 contest. We've got coverage beginning at 5:30 tonight on News Radio KMAN. Mitch Fortner and I are with you for the game starting this afternoon at 4 here at KMAN.